hammer with Herto typing balls were hard as ice. They almost cut his shirt. His hair dangled in his pants. And he was blushing as his emotions flooded his brainicles.
Man, I would be the best romantic literature lady ever. Well, good evening, laddies, lasses, and lassos. I hope you're doing dandy finalicious this day. Welcome to The Click. Have you ever seen a ridiculous female character in a movie or a book and wondered, how can this be real? How can anybody write this? Yeah, this is what this subreddit is about, so welcome to Men Writing Women. Enjoy. Video game. Here is an adult female character with the mentality of an 8-year-old. Me. I don't want this. Video game. Sorry, my mistake. Here is a 700-year-old female character with the appearance of a child. Me. I don't want this either! It's not underage naughties because they're actually 700 years old! There's nothing wrong with this! Sorry.
But actually the human species is super old, so it's not...
Hallmark movie. Woman.
I have a high-paying job in New York City that I love, and Christmas isn't that important to me.
Her black friend. You need a man. Woman's dad. Come to the small town. We are suffering without a baker for our town festival. Woman.
Okay, Dad.
Man, I harvest maple syrup for a living and makes $2 a year. Woman.
Yeah.
Man, will you harvest maple syrup with me? Woman.
I've decided I hate my job and I'm going to resign myself to making Christmas tree ornaments in Berg for the rest of my life.
You know those ridiculous rom-com movies where men just bend their life completely out of proportion to the will of the main female character? This is kind of that, but reversed. It's just so ridiculous. Who is this appealing to? How many times will I have to read breasts described like they're caffeinated Yorkshire Terriers? Perky, hand-sized, straining to be free. It's like, yeah, that's totally what goes through every man's mind.
The straining for freedom, can't you see?
Millennial women are worried, ashamed of out-earning boyfriends and husbands. No one feels this way. Give us more money. Who has ever been concerned about this? Male writers often struggle writing female characters, but luckily I grew up with sisters, so I am able to craft rich, realistic dialogue for my female characters, such as,
Leave us alone, you dumb idiot!
and,
Go back to your room, you stupid dumb idiot!
Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb? I am all both. If white characters were written in the way white authors described POC novels. Karen wrapped her mayonnaise-colored hands around the ceramic mug and lifted it to her non-existent lips. Her Tide Pod eyes narrowed when she realized she's forgotten to ask the manager.
Chip gazed at the sexy outline of the murder victim on the floor.
What a waste of curves,
he growled.
What the f- That's almost as bad as a movie and you witness a dead child. It's like, oh, what a shame. She'd have been a real looker if she was allowed to grow up. It's like, what the what? Oh, Clicky Wiki, you have entered the next level of hell.
Clicky Wiki, welcome to hell.
Well, thank you, Shaitan, you're waiting. Oh, you look very horny.
Best comment on the bad erotica post from a few days ago. He slid your panties off and slid his finger down your clit. But to his surprise, no opening could be found. He now knew that you were untouched. Unbroken, he smirked deviously upon finding that you were a virgin. You could tell his mind was exploring all the different things he could do to you.
This Mafar really think we got a tamper evidence seal?
The absolute funniest part about all of this is written by people who's never had a relationship or anything. Someone who has only watched old-fashioned anime and they want to write a novel about women. This is what it would be like. I mean, for God's sake, I'm sitting alone recording YouTube videos all day and I know more than this stuff. That's sad. Just read in a story, she was small-breasted, intelligent, and capable. Have yet to read, he was tiny-cocked, elegant, and available. It is a weird thing, the first thing you observe, it's not like, she was a strong character, she knew what she wanted and blah blah blah. It's like, oh, she had legs that went all the way up. All the way up. She doesn't even have a torso. Please introduce a male character like male screenwriters describe women characters. Go! As I looked into his innocent green eyes, I knew that my womanly presence was arousing for his tau testicles. That with every little gasping breath, they vibrated against each other, firm and plump, beneath his starched trousers, and he blushed as he knew what I knew.
My ball nipples were so hard.
describing breasts of every female character.
Stephen King, all of r/MenWritingWomen.
I mean, we usually joke about, like, oh yeah, she's got great personalities.
It's a one-off joke. It's not the character, for God's sake.
I am actually done. I refuse to read a book with a female character in it written by a man over 40. I never thought I would ever have to read the phrase, she had D-cup guts, but a trainer brought He had a big D attitude, but shriveled ball brains. 1940s detective. It was a hot night in the City of Angels when a leggy blonde walked into my office. She had 13, maybe 14 legs. Way too many. Would a male author describe your breasts as small but persistent, bountiful but unimaginative, stern but not without charm, perky and no judgmental, shy but good listeners, robust and welcoming, shriveled, dusty to the touch?
Shy but good listeners. How do you all have conversations?
Oh, hello, you're my breast friend. Ugh. If female writers wrote characters of the opposite naughties like men writers do.
He walked downstairs, noticing how his limp pee-pee pressed against the front of his underwear, his nullable balls dangling hairily below.
Yeah, she was walking down the stairs, her legs went all the way up, her boobs were dangling hairily. Okay, moving on.
Her hair was red like ketchup, her eyes blue like that weird ketchup they used to market to kids, her jacket yellow like mustard, ketchup's cousin. I'm not like other girls,
she said, golden skin shimmering in the summer sun. And she wasn't. She was the roastery chicken that I bought, took outside, and performed a small skit with in the parking lot before eating it in my car while sobbing loudly.
Hashtag couple goals.
Male writer. This female character that I'm writing has a deep, dark secret. Male writer. Something so horrible that you can't tell a soul. This female character is literally the saddest backstory anyone could ever imagine, and no man could ever love her because of it, and she cries herself to sleep every single night because she's such a monster. She's infertile.
What?
Immersive love story sponsored. 19-year-old Sienna is the only virgin in the pack, and the alpha has his eyes on her. No girl has ever said no to the alpha before, but Sienna's different. She won't give in without a fight, even if her body is begging her to. Kissy book! Who will be her first one and only?
What? Who the hell is the target audience for this ad? Like, who would click on this? Like, I don't think women would be too interested in this because it's just weird. Men, not so much. I mean, it's not really for kids. Read Her and the Wolves. What?
Who are you? What's the audience?
Why do fictional women's sadness or conflict always have to do with romantic love? Can't a woman have an existential crisis all by herself?
Where did you learn to fight like that?
I have 3 older brothers.
Really?
Yeah, Wilson played first table on the chess team. Chester used to start crying every time he heard a sad song. Dan can really rock a cocktail dress and 6-inch heels. And I wasn't going to let anyone give them for any of that, so I had to learn to beat up people bigger than me pretty early on.
This is my new favorite post. Whenever there's a female character who fights, it's always because she's learned from older male relatives. I'm gonna print this post and put it on my wall because it gave me new hope for humanity. To be honest, I would rock a cocktail dress though. Dear men writers, lesser known facts when writing women. High-heeled shoes don't become flats if you break the heel off. The posts of earrings aren't sharp. Nail polish takes a long time to dry and smudges when wet. You can't hold in a period like pee. Inserting a tampon is not arousing or sexual in any way ever. I feel like anybody who's ever had like a girlfriend would know this. It's the equivalent of like an alien writing stories about humans when they've only observed us vaguely from orbit. That's the impression I get from this. You don't have to fake orgasm to help your partner's ego. The guy I lost my virginity to wrote a whole play about the experience, and the character based on me gave a monologue about how she regretted sleeping with him because no one else would ever be that good. So yeah, just tell him you didn't.
I'm sorry, he wrote a what? This is like an r/hola.
Nerdy male director. She was a strong feminist woman who was the ruler of this matriarchal nation. So strong and so cold and so emotionless because I cannot figure out what sort of emotions or feelings a woman in power could have. I hate her because she's the bitter old screenwriting professor who gave me a D- on my manuscript about a sad 20-year-old man finding himself through a series of prostitute encounters.
She is violently killed on screen, and that is cathartic for me. Critics will praise how I handle grim reality as her womb is barren!
Talk about projection. Yikes.
A team of people and there's one girl is literally the worst trope, and I'm tired of it. A team of people and there's one girl, and when there's another girl, the first girl hates her for no reason is the second worst trope, and I'm tired of it. His voluptuous sack of testes hung hairily between his ebony thighs and swung with the rhythm of his confident strut, producing a faint slap with every step. His magnificent manhood bloomed like summer first rose and pressed desperately against the fabric of his undergarments, penitently begging for attention with a flaming passion.
I'm sorry, what?
She was all dame, legs that went all the way to the bottom of her torso, the kind of arms that have elbows.
She had eyebrows that she could raise. She also had toes.
The voice belonged to a plump, round-faced woman, of the sort that develops a good personality because the alternative is suicide.
What? Oh my god!
Good sir, you need to have some real-life interactions that do not involve ogling people from a distance from a park bench. Thank you.
Her sheet says she's a leather-clad barbarian in possession of long red hair.
Oh my, well, it can't be disappointing. Hello! I mean, yeah, I've always found that kind of weird in fantasy that all the humoristic characters that are ugly are always male. You know, for example, very vocal, verbose trolls, for example. Why can't you just have a super sassy, thick lady troll that has like good one-liners? That would be an awesome character. She stood there for some time, her legs as cold as marble inside her jeans, her nipples feeling sharp enough and hard enough to cut paper, her lips dead dry. She waited for the voices. No voices came. Introduce a male character like male screenwriters describe women characters. Go! Bernard twisted his plump red lips into a scowl as he surveyed his unruly hair in the mirror, one blonde curl falling down over a too thick eyebrow. He wishes he could be naturally handsome like his BFF Tim with his long legs and firm buttocks. Then people would take him seriously.
Wait, what?
Field Guide to Chicks of the United States. A new Twitter challenge. Describe yourself like a male author would. Her breasts entered the room before her far less interesting face. Decidedly maternal hips and rounded thighs. He found her voice unpleasantly audible. As his gaze dropped from her mouth, still talking, to her cleavage, he wondered why feminists were so angry all the time. She was not what you would call beautiful. Eyes a bit too big, mouth a bit too large, just a few too many boobs.
What?
Her hair was dark because she was smart. I think one thing I realized after starting to pay more attention to books and movies is that female characters come in a surprisingly small shape and sizes. Am I the only one who would genuinely just like a female character who doesn't take everything too serious? You know? You have a lot of these stand-up comedian style male characters. Look at Avengers, for example. I would love a female character that's just fun and relaxed. That would be so awesome. The girl in the erotic novel I'm reading just had a 2-hour orgasm. I just thought I would share how she achieved this magical event. So apparently your partner needs to pinch your nipples, slap your kn, and say, "You will for as long as I want you to." And just like that, sploosh! I imagine one of those old-fashioned sinks where you have two handles, hot water, cold water, and you can just turn those up and you just keep splooshing until you twist them off. That's the same thing with the nips in this, just twist them in one direction and just keep splooshing until you turn it off. Yeah, biology. I'm so freaking smaxy, Brooklyn purred. What was that? I am so freaking sexy, the girl said, then leaned in and kissed her reflection. Daniel's jaw dropped.
Are you kissing yourself?
He asked, both surprised and aroused. Mm-hmm, the girl replied, admiring her own beauty. I'm so hot.
Oh my god, Daniel said. You flippin' sloot.
Brooklyn smiled deviously.
Hell yeah, I'm a slut.
I'll take 500 for that never happened. Machiavelli, will you go out with me? Her.
No.
Machiavelli, chapter 26. How states are ruined on account of women? No one. John Green protagonist describing female love interests. Her name was May Holiday Winters, and she had a cigarette constantly dangling from her lips. She was complex in a way that I only could understand her, and I knew that under her huge tatas was a damaged heart.
Does that have to do with anything? Not even a segue.
George R.R. Martin on Writing Women. There's one thing that's interesting about your books. I noticed that you write women really well and really different. What does that come from?
I've always considered women to be people.
You mean that you don't consider them walking tatas with legs that go all the way up?
It's literally just a pair of tatas on a pair of legs. There's no torso, no head, no nothing. That's it. Cop, can you describe the woman who stabbed you? Male author.
Lithe, spirited, outgoing, and not afraid to speak her mind. She was a raw sexual force, and she knew it. She was dandelion fluff on a summer day, gone in an instant, leaving you with nothing but a memory of her touch and a faint taste of strawberries on your lips.
Great. We have a motive, but we still need a description.
Her name was Scarlet Pakistan. Her brown eyes was as brown as the brownest crayon.
Oh, girl, your eyes are as brown as the water in my toilet. Shonen authors be like, if we're gonna put a woman in a position of authority, she must have giant titties, like some serious honkers, a real set of badonka wonkas, packing a pair of big ol' fun honker-a-gurren-googers. I'm talking massive do-a-honka bla honk-tonka-lonkeros. Yes. The New Yorker. She wears sensible shoes that are hot. She can bench press 250, but has lean muscles of a Zumba instructor. She is 6 feet tall and 1/4 foot wide. Her boobs are large, but not obscene. Her rear is juicy. The only symptom of a period is that it makes her skinny. She glows in the dark, but in an extremely healthy, non-radioactive way.
They were perfect for each other. He was strong, brave, intelligent, heroic, honorable, funny, and pathetic.
And she was pretty.
Character depth. Oh my god.
Well, laddies, lasses, and lassos, I do hope you enjoyed this cursed mess of bad writing. Down below you find the links to Patreon, Discord, and all those amazing places. Other than that, I hope an amazing day, night, time, or wherever you live, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Mwah.